Hello, everybody, and welcome to Save or Dice, Season 3, Episode None. And here to tell us why there is no episode today, Jim Davis, God damn it.
I got to explain
Give me the
myself.
answers now.
Well, what happened is that a long time ago, I took up the practice.
Did your dog eat the episode, Jim?
The dog ate the episode. She's been recovering from a tumor we removed from her leg, and so we fed her the episode as a treat. No, I took up the practice of ice wizardry long ago and have inflicted my magnificent and awesome powers on the American Northeast for quite some time, including spitting in the eye of the first week of spring. All of this has caused our illustrious and magnificent fellow player Dave to be without power, and so we cannot game this evening unless he joins us in the next little bit.
A little bit.
40 or something.
I personally believe it was the pumpkin seeds, but
I'm
worried
that you can never rule them out.
That's one thing we learned. So today, instead of playing fun games together, we're going to talk about playing fun games together, which is like the second best thing to actually doing it.
We could just improv a game.
Like create a whole game.
Look at his face. Feels like we didn't talk about this shit at all.
I'm like looking through my notes here.
It's like, I'm sorry, what?
I'm looking at the auto cue. Well, we could start with some questions, I guess.
Yeah, some questions would be nice,
Yeah.
and we loved giving answers, so ask away.
Yeah, anything at all. Anything's on the table today.
So while we were getting questions, we had a fun little conversation where we learned something new and exciting about Will Jones and
Yeah.
Well, so what is this about a penis on stream?
See, I don't know if I should stream this. I don't know if I should broadcast it. This isn't going anywhere, right?
We're on YouTube's platform. They don't care.
Just on YouTube. They don't give a fuck. So, would you guys like to hear the story about how I streamed a penis on Twitch? 3 years ago now. 3 years ago now. Yeah. So I was telling you guys before this, but you guys haven't heard this yet. Unless you were specifically on one stream about 3 years ago where there were 12 viewers, in which case, holy shit. Or unless you are the man who walked naked on my stream. But so this back in 2015 in Canon Roleplay is like chill. There's like me and 3 friends, okay? Dallas would be yes. So one of these friends, she's streaming in a kitchen. She's like on her laptop. The kitchen. It's like getting close to midnight. Okay, so the kind of time, the hour of you get up, you might need a drink in the middle of the night. You wake up getting thirsty. So she's sitting down on the laptop. I see walking onto my screen. At the corner of my eye, I see it. For but a moment, but you know when you see it because it can't be unseen. And that horrific moment of realization, I zoomed in my eyes, and I saw a 50-year-old man or so's. He's wearing wife beater, his belly's out, naked penis, and there it is, waggling along like no tomorrow.
Make a sanity check.
Yeah, make a sanity check. He stops by, past the girl who's streaming with, who will remain nameless. She looks at him. She gives him a nod of familiarity, of friendship, of trust, of recognition. Just that kind of little nod. You know, that nod you do? All right. He nods back. He then turns around, and I see his butt cheeks walking off the screen. And what compounds this for being even worse is at the time the stream wasn't partnered, and there was a Twitch staff member in the chat. For those of you who don't know, if you want to get partnered on Twitch, a really quick way to do that is to just get a Twitch staff person to like you. Nowadays, there's like a whole other way to do it, but back in the day, it was a little bit more hit and miss, where like if a guy liked you. So this guy, who also remained nameless because he's still a Twitch staff, still watches my stream, he's in the chat, so I cut to break, and I'm like, yo, so this girl, I'm like, this is like a really, like a bannable offense, you can get banned for this. What the hell? What the fuck? Like, who was that? And she goes, oh, that's my dad. so at this point, I'm like, holy fuck, that's just opened a can of worms I didn't know was there, I didn't want opened. It just shrugs her shoulders. Oh, that's my dad. just walking butt naked on the screen, dick flapping around, like his fucking Equus. And I'm like, okay, fuck. So I stopped the stream at that point. At that point, actually, only at that point do I stop the stream. In retrospect, I think it should have happened a while before that, but I was young, new to the streaming business. So I whispered the Twitch. This is all completely true as well. I whispered the Twitch staff admin. I'm like, dude, I'm so sorry. Like this isn't. But I didn't know this was going to happen, obviously. Like, a dick just walked onto the screen. Like, I don't think anyone even saw it. It was like, tiny little quality. This is back in the day where it's just like 720p, like 1080p hadn't been fathomed yet into the internet. We didn't have the extra 260p's or 360p's that were required.
Bro,
You had 1p at least.
It was 1p.
I'm sorry we had a P on stream, but it's not like it was high def.
Yeah, it was 720p maximum. And, with your algorithm, it's probably not even that. So, Twitch staff is like, dude, that was so funny. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me? And he's like, man, like, that stuff happens all the time, I bet. And I'm like, not really, no. Like, no, sir, this never happens before. I've never been charged at all. And he just told me to delete the VOD and to just never worry about it. So, until this day, I don't think I've told that story on stream. Maybe
And now you have.
forever. Now I have. So, yeah, that happened about.
We're gonna be we're contacting everybody. We're sending clips.
Yeah, I don't stream when I go anymore. But I do stream with him, but on Live Jasmine, so it's different.
The dad.
Well, that's understandable,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, he's already, yeah.
What
That's how
else are
I
you
met
gonna
your
do
dad.
other than chatterbait in your spare time?
Exactly. Exactly.
This chatterbation is getting out of hand.
Speaking of which, we have probably some expert. So if you want that kind of content, go to twitch.tv/encounter roleplay. You might see a dick.
And AT said, and that's how I met your dad.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Message retracted. So we actually have a question
Yeah,
here.
okay, God.
Bahamut Zero Dragon wants to know how everyone's loving the season.
It's been very snowy here in England, and the snow's just a bastard after a while. So
Yeah, I fucking hate winter so much now that I actually have to live in it. It's such bullshit. I thought I'd love the cold. It's bullshit.
Wait, I thought it was spring now. I thought that's the season.
It's a lie.
Oh.
They fucking lied to you.
the spring is a lie.
Yes,
PRUITT.
a lie. Those reptiloids that control the weather machines haven't,
So
haven't
goddamn
adjusted their
Silurians.
dials.
like
Mhm.
cold, dead, wintry heart.
Yeah.
But it is winter. Speaking of a segue, it is winter in the world that CODY has created, and I'll tell you what, I am really enjoying this season because CODY do action really well, and the camaraderie between all of the characters is just stellar.
Yeah, I really like. There's a scene where we came in, not to wank CODY off too much. That's why I've got the other guy. But there was a scene where we came into. Oh, I've forgotten the name of the city now. But we came into the city, and I saw a piece of artwork that really reminded me of it. And I'm not gonna be able to find it now.
You're talking about a Dawn Cross?
Yeah, we came into Dawn Cross. It's like really winter, and we've got these spires above us. Like, damn, that's fucking cool. And then I like the other day, I saw a piece of artwork which was very similar in that description. In the gorge that we're walking through, the gate that we're walking through, and it's set in winter, I was like, holy shit, like, that, it was exactly how I pictured it, which was really weird. So your mouth words that you made became art, which was already real, which I hadn't seen before. It's very cool.
Tapped into the idea space, man.
Ooh.
Or what if I just had that picture up and just described it as I looked?
Do you do like subliminal imagery, just like occasionally you flash it on the screen?
Yeah.
Winter.
Winter.
Dick.
I legit thought they were asking about the season of winter.
Oh, I thought we
I
were
thought
doing
they
a
were.
bit. I was doing a bit.
I was not. I was
dead serious.
I was
and I
unironically
all
talking
really?
about how much I hate winter.
He was channeling Huell.
Like seriously sick of this.
times. I was gonna make a Winter of Our Discontent reference somewhere down the line for the highbrow members of our audience.
Yes,
Don't just
those
come
are-
here to hear dick stories. Goddamn.
I love this season, but look, okay, whatever. I'm behind the screen this season, but dude, the characters this season are just like, man, they're just really, really, really good.
Oh,
and,
that kind of season. Fuck.
I loved, season one. The season one characters were really, really fun that way too, kind of. But we were kind of like getting into the swing of things. But dude, man, the just riffing that the two web DM guys do, and then you start throwing in Grindlebrew, who's got this like just kind of like out there voice of like, oh, I'm so old and lonely, and then and kind of coming back in with, I don't know. I think the characters have made this particular season a tremendous amount of fun so far.
Genuinely, I thought they meant the season in our game. First of all, I thought they meant real life season. Secondly, I thought in-game season, and just now, as it connected with me, that we're doing a season. Okay, this is like our ridiculous.
What hour are you in, Will? Here,
time is a concept.
Like 1:30 at his point.
Yeah.
Time is a flat circle.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree that the camaraderie between the characters is super funny, and to me as well, like the reason I play Grindlebrew is because I personally find myself hilarious, and Grindlebrew just
Good place to start.
Yeah, Grindlebrew he just cracks me up as a person. Like when I just think about the character, I'm like, that's just fucking stupid. And it makes me happy.
Yeah, he's just like this sad sack old dwarf that you can't help but like, well, all right, come on.
He's an old dog, like you just can't, just can't say goodbye to like the watery look in his eyes,
Those old roomy eyes.
I mean, the thing is you live so long with her, you've done literally everything. So now you can't do anything without being reminded of her. And it's just, I love how tragic that is for such like a long-lived race like that.
I know.
Like,
oh man.
let's see.
Oh, we got some other questions. Your dog asked, you're in a tavern when the door bolts open, a hobgoblin stumbles in and collapses to the ground. What do you do?
Jeez.
Sounds
I
like
piss on him.
Sounds like my stream in 2015.
Yeah.
I pee on him.
Is this in game?
As Grindlebrew, I'd probably go
I just
and help
have. I
him.
have these questions. Just like they make me want to ask more questions.
Yeah, they're not specific, are they, Jim? Does that upset you?
It really does.
Well, he has a follow-up question here. Is that a green screen behind Will or an actual large-scale print image?
I'm not gonna pretend that I'm not so vain as to just get this printed behind me. Do you think I would have a green screen? Come on, guys.
Come on.
This is fucking laminate right here. Okay. Daniel asked.
You were just gonna skip the hobgoblin.
Oh, hobgoblin. Yeah. I mean, if I was Grindlebrew, I move on when I want. The hobgoblin, I would. If I was Grindlebrew, I'd probably go help him out. To be honest, he probably doesn't know what a hobgoblin really is.
Yeah.
But he would want to help it. He's a cleric.
First off, is something chasing it? Did it? I mean, like, is there like an army of fucking like other things right behind it that you need to be like hiding from? Like, yeah, you gotta.
Yeah, I don't have enough. There's not enough. There's too many variables to answer that equation.
So
I'm sorry.
the questions just lead to more questions.
You guys, we're gonna get you guys to an improv class.
Yes, Huell would probably find a place to hide and wait to see if action died down.
Well, actually, in our
'Cause
campaign,
he's
goblins
fucking
are
small.
Goblins are scary, so a hobgoblin in our place, like that might be, the sign that the orc army are coming. In which case, look out for that horn.
Right. Watch out.
Yeah, have a listen.
Oh man.
Daniel Ricardo Sanchez Askland.
Yeah.
Tips. That's all I had to say.
That's so mean.
That's all I had to say. I was trying to, like, the way it's written on Zoom, like, all the words are going together, so I wasn't sure where to stop. So, tips on good and efficient ways to make several varied and fun encounter tables, any good resources online or paper-based. Donjon's really good for that kind of shit, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Donjon.com.
I cannot remember the last time I've used a random encounter table.
Yes.
Yeah, I use them all the time. Most of my campaigns are centered around an encounter table. So I break my encounter tables up by region and then day and night. Some of the styles that I prefer are 2d6. It gives you enough entries that you can play with it for a while without getting boring, and a nice bell curve. And then sometimes a D100 if I'm feeling saucy and want to come up with 100 fucking different entries. But most of the time it's a D6. And then I'll also have a separate table that's a D8 and then a D12 table. So they combined are a D20, or I can use just a D8 for the first 8 or a D12 for the second. So That's how I'll
That
do
sounds complex the more I think about it.
You are like, yeah.
You like being specific.
It's like
don't you?
he asked. He was like, he said several varied and fun
See,
encounters.
what I thought he meant was actual wooden tables.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That you have an encounter.
Just
on.
random ones you bring in.
Absolutely not.
Bill's taking everything literally tonight.
But what do you used to find, Jim? Like when I used to have encounter tables, or like I used to roll them some more than I do. I don't do it now, but I always used to find that it would land near the one that I wanted. And I was like, damn, that one's better. So I just ended up picking that one, and then eventually I just end up making it up in my head anyway.
Yeah, I mean, they're just
Yes,
it's just an idea generator.
Yeah,
it's not a
yeah.
slave. If you find yourself enslaved to a table, then you're doing
a
it wrong.
slave to the chain.
But here's my question. So if it's an idea generator that you have to make from scratch, then you kind of already know what you want to do. I don't know. Here's the little trick. Pretend like you're rolling on the table. I do that shit in my home game all the time, man. You just roll dice whenever the players are out hanging out in the woods and they're taking too long. You just start rolling dice and it freaks them out. And they think they're about to have some random encounter.
Sometimes I'll roll like a random d20 just to fuck with them. But I tend to find that like when I as a player know that like the DM is just using a random table, I feel like that takes away some like immersion for me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, he's just like throwing a random like thing at us. Like that's
I think a lot of it comes down to if it's just a table full of like monsters and you don't provide context. So like my random tables usually have like there's always someone there to talk to, even if it's gonna fight. I prefer there be a talk before a fight.
Yeah.
So I'll come up with like a personality for the bandit leader or the whatever, because somebody's always gonna surprise me.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you think about like. Yeah,
I'm already writing it all down anyway. I might as well put a number next to it and roll on a table.
Yeah. I like random little side quests would be cool.
Yeah.
What kind of tables did you put together for Starbound?
What's that?
What kind of did you put any tables together for your new game?
I am trying to clean up my chaotic as fuck Spelljammer random encounter tables that I used in the campaign I ran with Jim, but I have not finalized anything as of yet. But I'm actually trying to do basically came up with 20 items on who, what, when, why, where, and how. And you just roll on one on each and just put them together. And it's like, does that make an adventure? And so that's like the idea I'm going with right now, just for funsies. But we'll see how it turns out.
That's cool.
Somewhere in last year or so, I did like an hour podcast on the DM's block, which was like specifically about travel and random encounters. And I don't remember everything that I said. I probably said some of it here. But if you're interested in really looking it up, their podcast is a really good place to go and get stuff on that. And it's like episode 100 and something or other where we did a big talk on it. And it was just like an hour and a half or so of like concentrated travel, encounter, random stuff. So
it's a really good podcast.
That was a good resource. What other questions we had? Knowing it is still... Oh, this is from Flafogan. What's up, buddy? Knowing it is still early in the campaign, is there a class that you wish you or you had alternatively played? Is there a class that you wish you...
Was with you?
Was with you. Was with you. I got you. Yep. Brain is connecting.
I mean...
we've got like quite a lot of bases covered, except from... We don't really have a tank.
No, we don't have a tank. I mean,
no.
You're in heavy armor.
That's the thing, yeah. Like, Grindlebrew is like heals and he can tank. He just doesn't a lot because of who he is as a character. But I tend to think with like group dynamics and stuff like that, I tend to not think about them so much as like, do we have a healer? Do we have a fighter? Oh man, I wish we had a wizard here to do crowd control. I tend to think like the characters work so well with each other. Mm-hmm. And I think with like adding in something else, just for the fact that we'd have a tank would be like possibly detrimental to like the dynamic. It would be interesting, and I think like there are definitely a lot of characters that would work well with this group because they play so well together. But yeah, I think that the group is in a pretty good spot. I quite like.
I might agree with that. I think a tank might even like kind of mess with the dynamic a little bit,
right? Because
it's almost
kind
like
of bad.
These three little hobbits, and they're kind of just reacting. It's just like, oh shit, and they're just like reacting to the danger. And so there's nobody who's like, get behind me and you'll be safe. They're all just like, oh God, what's that over there? Oh Jesus!
That's why we have
Like, you know,
Tevin.
That's what I was gonna say. Tevin is our meat shield.
oh, fuck.
Oh, Tevin,
Tevin,
son of a
Tev.
bitch.
I hate DMPCs like that so bad.
I love
Oh,
how we've made
no.
you bring him along.
Oh no.
You're like, where is he?
Stay
And it's like,
alive.
oh, he's fucking there.
Yeah,
Like,
I know, I'm the same. Like there's so many scenes I've done, where like there's meant to be a bunch of NPCs there, and then the PC's like, oh hey, is this person here? And I'm like, oh yes, they have been here this whole time.
this is my. Of course they are eyebrows.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah.
I only wish that the mechanics for Barbarian and Halfling worked better together, because I would really like to have played Roscoe in his original iteration as a barbarian, but oh well, him as a monk is just an interesting like complete change, but not really. I don't know.
I like him as a keeper.
I mean, it's
think
cool.
so.
Like,
It's fun as hell. I love the
It
idea.
really
of,
works.
Will has
yeah,
no
of
idea
a tiny
what's
little halfling.
yeah, what's going on with like the whole sword and Niv's Grindlebrew, but the whole like lore behind that whole like clan of monk stuff is bellissimo, intriguing for sure.
Yeah, I don't think I would play Huell any differently. He's just he's a character that was waiting for he was a concept waiting for a character, right? Like I was always like a die manipulating wizard, but like finding bumpkin wizard is just too good to pass up. And I like that. He's also he's impish. I appreciate that about him. And I wanted to do something very different than Ajax, because Ajax was like channeling some dark shit.
Yeah. Oh man,
and fun to do.
That was funny. It was funny. I saw going through the comments, like it must have been last week or so, on the last one we did, where Huell just like sits out the fight. And he's just like, nah, you got this. And then like one of the comments was like, is something wrong with Jim? Like, does he know how to play D&D? Like, did I miss something? Yeah, why is he not attacking him? I'm like,
well, no, I am doing a very different type of wizard. I don't have a lot of attack spells. I have some debuffs, but in the way I play wizards is like you just have to survive to 5th level. So he's primarily, most of his magic is defensive in nature, and then he'll expand out from there. But he's not going to be a traditional wizard type. I never envisioned him being that. He's about curses and making life miserable for other people.
None of our characters are like typical of our class.
Right. I like that.
Which is part of the incompetent fun of the season, I think.
There's a certain delicious patheticness to low-level characters that I love. They just kind of just suck, sort of, and you have moments of brilliance, but it's a lot of just bullshit that I like about low-level D&D.
Are you guys like are you guys enjoying like how eager are you to level up with these characters? Like, I mean, are you like chomping at the bits to get these guys up a little bit?
I always want more spells.
Yeah, honestly, yes. I would love to see Roscoe as like a fucking high level Kinsai, at least a 6th level, like at least a 6th, where they get that whatever ability. But the fact of that I have a monk that can bump his AC to like fucking 20, or will be able to bump it to like 20.
Yeah.
With dodge. It's just like, yeah, come at me, bro.
It's been really difficult on me, more so than I thought it would be, to kind of tell the fun kind of epicness story that I had in mind, with you guys on, being so low level. Like everything, I'm like, oh, that'd be great and it'd fit. Oh shit, that's gonna kill them in like one hit. Like, the stuff that I want to do, I kind of feel like you got to kind of pull back, or throw it at you guys, but in a way that.
Yeah.
That that, hey, you're gonna fucking run away, or you're not gonna make it.
I feel like where we
guys
are
almost didn't even make it out of the first fight.
I feel like where we are is like the Fellowship of the Ring, right? Yeah. And it's like there are dangers in this world that we're learning about. Because, like, for instance, Grindlebrew is like, he's like literally never left Lashire, right? He's like Samwise Gamgee, and it's like, and we're kind of like learning, like, oh, out here there are like, tribes of orcs, which is like, okay, that's kind of like the Nazgul, and then you start ramping it up, because I'm sure we will begin to level up. I'm actually more excited to see other characters level up. I think because Grindlebrew isn't going to be doing anything particularly like wacky or different, and his build is going to pretty much remain the same. Like he's just going to heal more people and he's going to get more effective at healing people. So I'm more excited to see where Roscoe goes because I haven't seen a Kensai monk like get to higher levels before. I don't think I've ever played with one actually. So I'm kind of more interested in that, and I think seeing the characters grow into more competent adventurers will be quite fun, really.
So Autumn Firer. Sure. What would you guys do if your players wanted to play a character who had 3 personalities, each with its own class? I would tell them to go to the D&D psychiatrist.
The asylum, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd want to work out I'd want to nail down some mechanics for it. How often can you change? Under what conditions? Particularly if you give me some nasty things to throw at you that will force an inconvenient change. That might be something fun. But I don't see anything wrong with it.
My question is always why. Yeah. You know, with a lot of like homebrew stuff, it's like, so why are we doing this? You know, I mean, because it could be that the answer is actually really interesting. You know, like it could be that you know, there's something deeply
3 souls trapped in them.
Sure, yeah, or it could be something that the person really wants to explore. You know, like I'm really interested in this like area of psychology, and I'd love to see how this could like role play this out. Because often with like role play can be a way of like doing new stuff. But I think like from it does just like raise that little alarm bell on the back of my head where I'm like, okay, we got one of these, which you do get that sometimes of homebrew stuff, but you're just like, what have you come up with? Like, how did you do this? Like what? Like the stuff that you get from the D&D wiki. I get the question would be why, and then go from there. And if it's like if it interests me as a DM, and it seems like it could be something which is like plausible, A, plausible, and B, playable. I think that's where you go from there.
Yeah, you've seen the homebrew Etten, where it's like 2 players playing the same giant.
Dude, that's pretty great. I have experience with this, by the way. Yeah, when we were back in high school, we played, and we had it was so many people around that we actually had 2 guys play one character, and so they were literally handling this character back and forth. And I really want to share some of the stories of the awful things that they did because they completely disagreed on everything except the really, really gross, awful stuff. But I won't share that on screen. I will just say that is awful teenagers being awful. And I felt bad for that goblin.
Yeah. Actually, now that I remember, my very first role-playing game ever, Vampire the Dark Ages, I was playing a Malkavian vampire, and I rolled like the thing where I had multiple personalities. And I think if I remember correctly, me and Trav came up with like 6 things, and we'd roll a D6 anytime something stressful happened. And I would just kind of shift into like docile and fearful, or brash and angry, or, like we had come up with just a couple of things. So it wasn't like the full like 3 different classes, but I think something like that is a little bit more manageable. It's just more about behavior and reaction to.
I understand like where that idea is as well. It's like, okay, so I've got 3 different personalities, and like some like TV shows, for instance, like take examples of some like anime shows in particular, like characters go into different modes, and then they have different powers and stuff like that. So it's like I get the idea. The more I think about it, I'm like, okay, when he's angry, he's a barbarian. When he's happy, he's a cleric, a bard, or So I get that is definitely a thing. I think maybe D&D isn't necessarily the best place to do that. I can see a lot of questions.
It's awfully complicated. I wouldn't ask it of a new player or someone I didn't trust. Right. But I usually in these questions, I assume I trust and know the player.
I don't trust anyone, so.
Well, I got to disagree. The best place to try out Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde or the Hulk, because it's the one game where you can just do whatever the hell you want, right?
I do let in Call of Cthulhu. I mean, that's where I'd send like the truly insane stuff. When it is just insane, I'm like, go play like a horror game, man. Where that stuff is. It depends on the game, right? And every damn question in D&D is like, well, it depends on the DM, it depends on the theme, it depends on the style of game we're going for, which is like the answer that every fucking one will give.
Was that your like British game show host voice?
I mean, it's just like my hashtag DM tip voice. When I see that on Twitter, that's the voice that I read out. DM tips in. Actually, if you do this, you might be able to find this. And usually I find it's sort of like, basic stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I know. God damn it. But I mean, yeah, I think it totally depends on the game, right? Like if you're the kind of DM who's like, fuck yeah, this seems like a great idea, then go for it. But I find a lot of these ideas as well often come from like, like newer players who are newer to the game, maybe haven't experienced some of the things that we've experienced, where it's like, oh, like Cody's story, like, oh my god, that time that the guys played both items, that was such a clusterfuck, and my brain hurts thinking about it. Like, you don't necessarily have experienced that, and if you're not from like a role-playing background or a gaming background, like these things just seem like good ideas, and you wouldn't know why they're not a good idea. So, you know, it's worth talking to people like, you know, I've had this happen before, or I've seen that done, and it was awful. Yeah. Let's see.
I'll just give my players a deck of many things. I'm sure it'll all be fine.
Yeah, do it. I think that's easier to manage, potentially. How was Pruitt's self-critique after his first stream?
Ooh,
For the record, I thought it was great, but what do you think, Pruitt?
What do I think? I think that the first hour was a little rough. Had some rust. Hadn't DM'd in like 2 years. But once I shook that off and actually calmed the fuck down and was like, oh yeah, there's 4 other players here and they're awesome. And I can just kind of sit back and let them do their thing. Also, I think we calmed down, and the last bit with the whole like fight and everything, that was fucking like nitro. Like, I don't know, man. It was a blur. And when like we went right up to the 3 hour mark, and when 3 hours goes by like that,
Yeah.
probably did something right. I think I made the skill challenge for the race a little bit too complicated on my end. At least I should have read my rules a couple more times. I think that they're actually pretty decent. I'm going to send them to Jim to have him critique them. But yeah. What was that?
So be careful if he's going to critique it.
Oh, I don't mind.
What are we doing?
Oh no,
Jim's like,
What's wrong?
What am I?
I was reading the chat.
What am I?
I saw my. It's like, what?
What am I shitting on now? What do I?
So present.
what do you want me to shit on?
No, I don't shit on a lot of things. I try. I mean, well, actually, that's not true. I don't shit on a lot of role playing related things. Cats, toilets,
Toilet seats.
Yeah. No, I don't. I don't know. I just don't. I'm happy to look at it. It's fucking Pruitt. Come on.
Yeah.
Come
But
on,
yeah,
chat.
I thought everyone did a marvelous job, and I think we had a lot of fun. And yeah, I can't wait till next week.
Now here's what I thought. I'm kidding.
Let me get my notes out. I took some notes.
Pulls out full binder.
A4
Timestamps.
binder, yeah.
1 hour, 3 minutes, 22 seconds.
It's really funny you should say that. There's a guy going through, and I mean through every YouTube video that I have right now. I tweeted about it the other day. And there are 986 videos on the Twitch channel, like 3 hours long, most of them, for like actual play stuff. I should just get ripped up to it. Not including the Naked Man one. But he's going for everyone, and he is timestamping, and he is correcting rules that we got up to 3 years ago. Like,
I bet he's got a creepy like hair doll of you or something.
Yeah, he is my biggest fan. I love him. He's like, the watch time on this guy is off the charts. He's dedicated. I respect him.
God bless those people.
All right. Let's see. Oh wait, no. That was just my name. What is your favorite race in D&D?
Oof.
No, human,
Jeez.
human, and then no.
What do I usually say? I've got an answer on my FAQ about this.
Yeah.
I say tiefling, but that was so long ago. I don't think I ever played one.
If you go by the characters I've played, it would be elf. But,
Same here.
But I'm not like all of my elves are like different kind. They all go against type. So
Based on the characters I'm playing right now that I'm most enjoying, dwarf. In another stream, I'm currently playing Gregor, who is actually the guy that's.
I noticed that one day, and I was like, I was just gonna let it sit.
Oh my God.
It's so good.
Will Jones, did you know that dwarves only live to be 350 years, not 850 years?
He's been in the mountain. It's very.
I saw
Very
the
good
comment we got. There was a comment on the channel.
yeah,
that
yeah.
was like, did you know that dwarves only live?
It was probably that guy. It was probably my guy.
He probably has got his.
He's
got
everywhere.
his citation out.
Nice now.
He's everywhere. Oh, dude. All right, let's get through him. Will this merry company gonna face some darker stuff in the future, or to stay to the current vibe? I read him as I see him, Cody.
I'm laughing.
I'm not going to
Yeah,
interpret the question for you.
all right, I will answer this question. Yes. I don't think that it's going to change the vibe of the dynamic between the characters, but I'd be interested to see how the characters who are fun-loving and kind of casual and and talking about building mechs with each other. I'm curious to see how they handle the darker stuff, but absolutely yes, 100% yes.
Here's the thing. Like, we're the guys doing the fun stuff, and in every 30 minutes or so when we rest, Cody's like, you feel depressed. And we're like,
yeah, because no.
So the rest of us are facing fine stuff. Cody's like throwing the dark shit at us, and then we're like,
Yeah.
I love how I threw that at you guys, and you just like, you took it from like maybe 45 seconds.
Yeah.
And then you're immediately right back into, no, we're not gonna do that.
we cheered ourselves up.
We did. Like, they got mad at me, and I was like, "It's what I do, guys."
It's a depressing, oppressive, kind of environment, and blah blah blah. And they're just like, "Oh yeah, cool, yeah." So, anyways, dick jokes, and then they just kind of went off on their own tangent.
I think it's in keeping with halflings, though, because halflings have that kind of resiliency.
Well, Huell was the only one who actually made all of his saves, so it was totally okay for him to be completely like,
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
He's like, I'm fine. What the fuck?
I for the record, I sat out that combat because I missed like fucking 4 times in a row. Like, it's called role playing.
For the fucking record.
Huell was like, I missed. I'm no good. I'm completely ineffectual here. I might as well just have a smoke and let my badass companions deal with it. They're the ones with the weapons.
Yeah, I think Grindlebrew is usually pretty depressed anyway, so he goes into some dark stuff quite regularly. So.
I feel like Grindlebrew. I don't want to cast detect thoughts on Grindlebrew. I just don't.
It is a dark and lonely place.
With a tiny violin.
It is nice to see just the characters push back on any of that stuff, especially when we compare it to last season, where we tried to have some fun character, and it was just like, no, it's depressing as shit, and all the characters were depressed and trapped, and so it's just fun to see the change. Like, it's just fun to see the different change between these characters. I love these characters.
Last season, Wednesday was my penumbra day, because I'd listen to Turncloaks in the day and then play at night and be like, I'm just ready, bring it. Like, just wallow in the depravity of
current media.
Times.
Yeah.
This season, after the session, Jim's over there like washing the dishes, and it's like, oh, was it a good game? Like,
Yeah, it was real cathartic. He's playing a barbarian, right? Smash heads and shit.
Very true.
Okay.
Yes, you got a question, PRUITT? Would you like to?
Oh, I was gonna just read the next one.
Well, goddamn, I thought I was doing that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were trading off.
No.
Okay.
You were wrong.
Sorry.
We're doing it live, people. We're doing it live.
I'm kidding. Go ahead. I thought you had it.
How often, if ever, do you guys base a character on real life people you know have met? I do it all the time. Hell, in my Spelljammer game last night, the dwarf on the docks that talked to Hilda, his name was Burke, and he was literally Burke from Aliens. He wanted this thing to make profit off of, and like I was basically just doing my Paul Reiser, and so I do that all the time.
Hell, I'm doing that right now.
Yeah.
I think I do, but I don't think I necessarily think about it so much. I think it comes through in people I've met and people I've talked to, but I don't think I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be playing, this person today, as such. Maybe more so characters from shows, like PRUITT was saying, but actual people I've met, people don't tend to be my characters tend to be fairly caricatured or energetic, and people don't tend to be as two-dimensional as characters in D&D and role-playing games really are. I mean, you can create fairly three-dimensional characters, that's sure, but the ones that are easily remembered and I think broadcast well and translate well are slightly more caricatured than I think real people often are.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I take elements from people.
It's got to be a little over the top in order to get the message through.
Yeah,
totally agree.
I think people have aspects of their personalities where you can bring it as oh man, that was just like that person I know, how they act in those situations. But actually playing a real person, I think it's really difficult as well. I don't think I could do that.
Yeah.
Anyway, now I'm back in charge of the questions. When did D&D get so dashing? Asks Michael Johnson. Real talk question. That's an odd name.
Real talk question.
I got an answer for this.
Weird name.
1987.
I would say since we spent one key to use it as a bonus.
Was
action.
that when America was formed? Was
7. Yeah.
Yeah.
Only like.
It's when Cody declared independence from his mother.
that long ago? I don't even.
Fine.
Never
It's
heard
not
that
worth
Twitter phrase.
remarking on or anything.
Well, trust me, I cleaned it up for the kids out there.
I'm declaring independence, mother. I've had enough.
What's that sound like me?
Oh shit. Hey, Jim Davis, Nerd or Doug wants you to give us a sweet Land Between Two Rivers tease.
All right, so take Fury Road, Thundar the Barbarian, and He-Man, and just kind of blend them up a bit and mix it with a dash of Call of Cthulhu, and that's what's in my head right now.
Bellissimo.
Yeah,
I love that.
yeah, I'm into some science fantasy shit right now. That's what my jam is.
Nice.
So it's done. Yeah.
Jim, I love that we're doing the same thing, science fantasy, from two completely different directions.
They're somewhere out there. There's just a spell jammer waiting to stop by.
Oh, don't you worry about that.
I have long wanted to build my own private, basically cinematic universe consisting of my D&D campaigns. And so I made a concerted effort over the last few years to merge them all into one and then attach those to my friends' D&D campaigns as well, so that we can say that they all take place in the same world. Periodically, we do a favorites campaign where everybody plays their favorite character. So it justifies that a bit, that they're all there.
Hall of Fame.
Yeah, like one of the things I love about early D&D is like how Greyhawk grew out of the actual campaigns that they were playing, and like all of that shit that's in the player's handbook. That was person's game once. It wasn't a thing in a rule book. It was something they made for their brand new thing, and I wanted that for myself. And Land Between Two Rivers is part of that thing that I decided to do a few years ago, and it's pretty sweet.
That's how you make friends. Make their D&D campaigns in your D&D.
Yeah,
campaigns.
and all these people get to influence it and participate in it and be a part of it. And
I was being
really
facetious, but yeah,
I was being some fucking genuine shit over here.
I was pouring my goddamn heart out of it.
God damn it!
Typical British sarcasm.
Will Jim? Speaking of which, not sarcasm, but cocks. Will Jim Davis be getting into some cock?
Well, when I can, I do. But I like I like my Cthulhu with the dash of Warhammer. So I believe that that's where I'll be getting into it. That's all I'll say for now.
No.
So you don't, Jim, what you're saying is you don't think
Call
you
of
can handle
Cthulhu
the
Dark
cock.
Ages. I would play Call of Cthulhu Dark Ages. That sounds like fun. You remember that one game for the GameCube where it was like your character had a sanity meter and like monsters would show up on screen
What's a
and shit?
GameCube?
It's like an old video
I'm
game
kidding.
controller.
No one GameCube.
Gosh.
I'm
I forget what it's called.
declaring
Eternal
independence
Darkness?
from the GameCube, mother.
It's the GameCube. Put your
worst
wooden nickel
controller.
in it. You kept to kickstart it. Anyway.
They had
I don't know.
Kickstarter back then?
No, like a real Kickstarter.
Yeah, no.
Wait. Speaking of video games, I got to jump in here. Jim Davis, how excited are you about March 27th? Are you as pumped as I am?
That's Far Cry 5.
Far Cry 5's release.
I'm pretty excited about that because I got a bachelor weekend coming up that weekend, and that's going to be pretty sweet.
Are you a master
about-
PC race? I'm just saying, are you a master PC race?
I used to be. And then I went to grad school and I had to sacrifice everything that I loved in order to fucking graduate. And so when I emerged out of the meat grinder that was graduate school, I was a PlayStation 4 man. So I will be PlayStation 4ing it up.
You make me so sad.
Cheers.
You make
I
me sick.
I cannot remember
I
the
only
last.
get like an hour a month to game.
I
So
I
it's like
I cannot remember the last time I actually bought a video game on a release. I think it was Elder Scrolls Online. Was the last
Redbox
time.
all the way, man. It's cheaper. I'm only gonna play it for 3 hours anyway.
I'm
Yeah.
so pumped. I'm so happy you put me back on Primal and made me finish that game out.
It's fun, isn't it? It's kind of
it's
weird
just
at first. It made me want to play a
the
Beastmaster
guy
Ranger
that was like,
a
Una
motherfucker.
orangutanga goomba.
He sucks. He
Fucking-
sucks.
Broke all of my immersion immediately.
Oh yeah, he
Like a-
sucks.
It sounds like a terrible
And he's a
game.
fucking
It's a
cave,
terrible
and
accent.
he's fucking thinking you're a bear and shit. Anyways,
Yeah.
YouTube
Fun
it.
game.
YouTube
It's
it.
fun
YouTube has everything. I'm sure you can find the clips there.
All right. Dallas asks, wouldn't Kazner be a little mad if Gregor is dating a dwarf? Kazner is Gregor's significant other in the other game that we're playing in. Probably, but Gregor's, he don't give a shit.
So he's two-timing.
Well, I mean, we're going to put them all into one collective world, and then maybe they are, but who knows? Michael Johnson, Realer Talk question. Some very long names here. Will Pruitt ever furnish the community? I got to read this in the tone it was intended. Will Pruitt ever furnish the community with some sweet Spelljammer materials for his adoring fans who also want to run a Spelljammer campaign in 5e?
No, never. When we get done with the campaign, I'm burning all of my notes. No, yeah, we're gonna see what we can do. I'm trying to be coy and not give away anything, but whatever. It's not really working. So, we'll see. But I'd like to. I want to help people out.
Thank God you're not in charge of any important secret information. Like fucking hell. Hey, bro, here's some nuclear codes.
Hey, anybody want these? What does BF5654458 mean?
Pretty sure these don't mean anything. I'm trying not to give these away, guys, but
Just gonna leave him here.
Oh,
I'm on this train.
Just being joyfully coy.
This one is in from Cody Lewis. Can we mention the Mistwalker at some point?
Oh man, I'm excited. I will take this question. Yeah, dude, the Mistwalker. We're in what I'm
Oh,
calling,
funny you should ask.
right? But we're doing the final playtest, and we have just finished out the 3 archetypes called convictions. We have the conviction of the blade, we have the conviction of the mind, and the conviction of the shroud. And the Mistwalker has just turned out fantastic. Olga is not back for the art. Thank you very much. And we are having the art done by Kim Van Deun, who did all of the art for seasons 2, 3, and basically 4 with Fury. And she's doing the art for the Mistwalker. And guys, I've just really enjoyed having everybody kind of actually get this out there and play test a little bit. So I can tell you, we get this question all the time on in the chat, that it is coming very, 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 very soon for total and complete public release. Maybe even the next 4 weeks or so. If the rest of the playtesting results come in like we think they're going to, we're really, really, really excited about that. So yeah, great question, Cody. Thanks for asking it.
Oh, it's weird. He's got exactly your name. Just in the Zoom chat. Okay, the Floggins, I know that name. Could you all
Flathagen.
Flathagen. I say Flafloggin, but I don't know if that's has it been wrong. Flafoggin's in my chat all the time. I say his name wrong. God damn it. Flafoggin. I'm saying that now. I don't care.
Maybe it's like a phonetic,
It's-
elder speech or something.
It's my damn Twitch chat when he's in mine, so I'll call you what I want then. Could you all make one another as a level 3 character? You mean like I could make Jim Davis as a level 3 character? Okay. No. I would find it difficult, I think. I felt like
I don't know what class I would pick for myself.
yeah, that's the thing. I
so,
feel like
yeah.
what the hell
Jim
am
is
I?
a second level wizard, first level barbarian.
You can't make Jim because you guys have known each other so long. You got to
Why
make
not?
Will.
Why
Oh,
can't
yeah, you
why
gotta-
My
can't?
bad. My
Yeah,
bad.
because y'all guys got like,
Yeah, you guys
y'all
probably
make
do this on the weekends all together with one another. Hey,
Not
Jim.
anymore.
Can make me
After
as level 3
15
D&D
some
character?
odd years, you have to keep it fresh.
Listen, Jim. I think you would be a level 2 wizard.
Oh yeah. What are we
So,
talking about?
I don't know. Who's got another question?
I mean, if I were to make... Fuck, I don't know. If I were to make PRUITT as a level 3 character, probably an elf. He's probably he could be an Eladrin, because he was quite similar to fucking that character in Season 2. I've no fucking clue what class you are. What do you do, PRUITT? What, do you kill people?
What do I do
or
with my
you-
real?
do
I'm
you
a
heal
legal
people?
drug dealer. Technically,
He's
I'm a pharmacy tech.
He'd be an alchemist, right?
That
I think he'd be
class?
an alchemist.
Something like that. I mean, sure.
Yeah.
I consider myself a 3rd level monk. Actually, a 2nd level monk.
I was
maybe
gonna
three.
go with monk, but then I thought he's playing a monk. That'd be embarrassing for him,
Just
Just playing himself.
Okay, so here's a question. Jim obviously has to be a caster. He's got to be a caster. So I don't know if I'd put him on a wizard. I don't. He's not studied.
Yeah,
Well, I don't know.
No, he went to school. He said he went
I
to school.
literally have a
He literally
master's.
just said
I
he-
literally am a
But I
master.
mean,
I meant with the game. I meant with the game. I meant with the
Definitely sage background. Whatever it is, I'll take sage background.
Yeah.
Would you go warlock?
I mean, I don't know who
You
my
have a
patron
patron?
would be. I don't know.
Have a
I've-
patron, like an
I-
eldritch
no.
being that tells you to
You
do that.
just get all your magic powers from
Wait.
Travis,
Yeah.
I think no. My
who has bestowed it
I don't
upon
like.
you.
I'm not. I don't like having authority figures above me. So I probably
See,
wouldn't do a patron or cleric.
Yeah.
I personally I think it would be the most convenient to be a druid because you could turn into
you know
shit and
what?
fly
I
around.
can totally see you as a druid right
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
I do a druid.
What's going on, Andrew? What's up, buddy? We
Hey, man.
appreciate
There
it.
we go.
Appreciate the
Leave him
love.
around.
He also says that your wife is your patron. Jim.
That's what I was gonna go with.
In
Actually,
some ways, that's
Yeah,
that's
I
just
thought-
how the relationships work.
sometimes you signed a pact with a fiend, and then you turn out to be able to cast fire from your hands.
Easily.
Then you have to
Yeah,
show
who
up,
knows?
baby. Listen, I just need another hit of power, please.
Just need one more
Just
eldritch
like-
invocation, babe.
she's
Come
like- And then they're like, "No, you can't do that. You let me smell your dick first, because otherwise, I don't know where you've been."
Oh my God.
Let me smell your dick.
on. I wanna.
I'm so glad this
wanna be Jim
episode
Davis's
is not
wife.
sponsored.
It's the best song. I'm sorry. Look it up. It's the best song.
It couldn't be any worse than how we made Adam Bradford feel when he
I think he had a
I
great
good
time.
I showed him a good time.
I
Goddammit.
think he too.
I have no fucking clue what I am. So, I don't know.
I think Cody is a bard.
You could be a bard, Cody.
I think
He,
he's
I
really
mean,
got that.
he is a deviant.
Yeah, but there's that as well.
Yeah.
But you have that kind of just like
Background deviant.
out there
Mm.
personality. You know what I mean?
I will accept.
I
I
will,
will
I will
accept
accept
the
the title of bard.
I
I
did
will love
both
it.
stand-up comedy and was in a garage band.
See,
so yeah,
right? You're
There you go. See,
performer.
see, you can't hide that shit.
Yeah.
See, I see Will as like a mastermind rogue or an inquisitive rogue,
Mm.
something like that.
I do, yeah, I do look a bit
Like a
piratey sometimes.
Swashbuckler, right?
Yeah, people
Well,
say I
could
look
be
a
that
bit
too.
piratey.
Yeah.
Definitely roguish.
Oh, I'm in the fucking Sword Coast Adventurer Guide. Fuck.
And he's well traveled, right? He's
Yeah.
stayed in several different countries. So
Wow.
yeah, you know.
Born and raised on an island nation. I mean, come on.
That's right.
That's right.
All I'm,
Where were you after Queen Anne's War?
that's right. Well, all I'm saying is British jobs for British workers. So,
Yeah, damn right.
is that? Well, we had another question. I saw a question in chat. I don't think maybe. Oh, yes.
Let me just jump in here with JGR. By the way, if you guys are just joining us, no, we are not going to play tonight. It doesn't seem that way. One of our cast members has been snowed in and has lost his power. And that is not his patron power from his wife, his actual electrical power. So we were hanging out to see if maybe he got his power back up, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. So
You know when there was that time that Dave he swatted away and he was like, "Oh, that was just the internet." I'm pretty sure that's how Dave's power works as well, just based on Wi-Fi. Sort of just waves at it and it turns on. There was a question, how the realist of talk questions. What kind of hair product do you use, Will, and how often? Let's go into this. So, funnily enough, I don't actually use any actual product in my hair. This is all just this is natural
you
hair.
just grow it long.
Grow it along.
That's
There's a shampoo. I grab any kind of cleaning product which is next to me in the shower. It could be I think there's a mint one in there. Sometimes I use the mint one. There is a body wash one in there, which I've used in the past, which unbeknownst to me was not meant for hair, but I've used. That's the only thing that goes on this.
Do you do the the like chick thing where you don't wash your hair for a few days because it's so long or whatever, so otherwise it'll dry out or whatever? Or you just like screw it in shampoo
I don't actively think about it, but it does happen. You know.
I'm pretty sure you know if you get in and just automatically shampoo your hair every time or not.
This is true.
This is what people want to know, Will.
I mean, often I'll wake up and I think, I should stream today. And sometimes I wake up and I'm like, holy shit, you look terrible. Will Jones, take a shower. And then I wash my hair. But most of it, like 90% of the time, I look great anyway. You know, whether or not I've done their hair or not. And here's the fucking trick, boys. Oh, where is it? I don't know where I put it. Beanies. Yo, when you got long hair, or like slightly long hair, and you're having a bad day, like hair downstream, just fucking put a great beanie on. Or, one of these bad boys. Cthulhu hat. Why not? Gregor's beard hat. Or Grindlebrew's beard hat. Hat's sort of way to go when you're having a bad hair downstream. Because it is definitely a thing. Like, you look at yourself and you're like, am I presentable today as a broadcaster? And most of the time, being a D&D sex icon, yes I am. But yeah, no real product. There's not like a routine that goes into this, I'm sorry. I'm just...
We'll just delete this comment real quick.
Just born beautiful.
Love you, Michael.
Thank you, Michael Jordan.
So, Dawnforge, if Volk was to fight Oliver, how bad would Oliver lose?
Not at all, man. Are you kidding me? Not at all.
You think I am fucking pussy? Come on, man.
Come at me, bro.
Come on, man. I'll take you right. My dad could fight you.
Who's DMing the scenario?
Yeah.
Very important.
Who's DMing the scenario? I need more information.
At all times, Jim.
I just always want more.
Just give me words of information. Just fucking
contextless information. Just raw data.
And the figure where he's like, fucking email them words of information, which is just the moment I'm thinking of right now.
First off, I'm pretty sure that Volk is a paladin, so he wouldn't just outright attack Oliver, which means that Oliver was a little bit more chaotic, would probably get the jump on him because he'd be the one initiating the fight. I'm just saying. I don't think Volk's
barbarian.
Just gonna go.
This is like a lot of like Discord RP chat right now. Like, I could fight you. No, I would beat you. I'd do this. Well, if you did that, then I would do this in the first place anyway. Like, yeah, I'm enjoying it, I have to say. Okay, let me read this out in the tone it was intended. Why didn't Jim Davis let Dave stay over at his place? It's not far. So you guys could actually play tonight. Yeah, why, Jim?
There's a shit ton of mountains in between New Jersey and
I don't care, goddammit.
Well, that's a question for Dave more than anything.
Yeah, Dave. Why didn't you do that? Were you looking after your family or something? Go.
So Dawnforge has clarified. Damn, didn't give context. Volk was to fight Oliver in the most bushy pubes contest with PRUITT DMing. How bad would Oliver lose?
That's a question only PRUITT can answer, I feel.
Well, I mean, after combing through the rules, I think that I'd have to go with Volk.
Yeah.
Wait, what is Volk?
Definitely would. Yeah. Volk would
you know who Volk is.
Oh, okay.
You gotta trim the bushes so things look correctly proportionate.
Well, yeah, you got to manscape. You
gotta manscape.
Volk does not manscape.
Are we doing this? This is what we are.
I can't wait for somebody who didn't realize what happened.
You want to talk about flopping dicks, but we can't talk about.
I'm missing it.
Hey,
we can't talk about proper hygiene.
My dick was real.
Brought out old man dicks.
No. My dick was real. All right.
It's not a cartoon.
The YouTube algorithm's gonna be listening and all these words should be like, no.
FBI watching. This is where I draw the line. Goddamn.
Did you guys see my video today? Got flagged from YouTube as fake news. Did you? I swear to God, my video got flagged fake news. I put a fucking screenshot up. It literally got tagged fake news.
I told
on
you,
YouTube.
it's the D&D agenda.
Crazy.
We're at it again.
So good.
So, after all small campaign, I'm not sure why that was in quotes. I was kind of reading that and I was like, are we still talking about dicks?
All small campaign. Bill Jones.
I don't know anymore, Cody. You've misled me.
I think we are always
No, after the
talking
all
about
small
dicks.
campaign, you thinking all same classes campaign?
Wow, am I? Is that my conscience?
Ooh, I think it would be fun to do like an all bards party.
Oh God, yes.
That would be good. I
Do like a
accidentally
battle of the
don't.
bards kind of thing.
I don't know if I'd be able to play in that one.
I would.
We'd have to.
Why not?
Would you run it, Jim?
I mean, PRUITT should run it. PRUITT has a game in him for an all bards game.
I have the beginning of the nugget of an idea, and I have a map. Which
Well,
coincidentally,
would you
Jim,
rather play in it or run it. What would you prefer though?
I would prefer to play in an all bards.
I'd play
honestly.
a campaign.
Because I think like the bard has like some of the most diverse, like bard and cleric probably have the two most diverse classes as far as all their paths, and bards would just be fun. Everybody be giving inspiration to everybody all the fucking time.
You get an inspiration.
No, you.
Doug is right. We should get Dave to run the Say What Dice game.
Dave.
Yeah,
do it.
get
I
Dave
think
to
we
run.
should run. Yeah. Okay, let's do it.
Let's do it. Season 4.
He's not here to defend himself. We
Yeah,
nominate
Not-
him.
yeah.
He decided
Yeah,
not
not
to
it.
be here.
Not
today.
it.
He excluded himself. Let's see. There was a thing that I was going to say. I was looking for an email. So Obo Crazy was telling me about this thing she DMs over on the D&D channel, and she's telling me about this bonus cohesive party thing that she does. So she's saying she offers a bonus cohesive party feat if the whole party decide to be the same class, like a group of monks, conclave of wizards, whatever. Because the role-playing opportunities are so outstanding, I reward the players by letting each pick one feat to start off with. This will apply to our group of people who are multi-class or classes that are easily tied together. So that's pretty cool. I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, now I want to do that even more. So yeah, I thought that was a neat way to do that. If you're thinking of doing an all same class, give them extra feats and just go wild.
I really want to run an all like specifically Wizards game, and in my mind, it's like second edition Wizards, and just like do a magical Hogwarts kind of. Just I don't know. I want to like play in that world for a while, not specifically Harry Potter, but just like a wizarding academy or something.
Yeah, Wizards Academy is a good.
And it'd be fun if you did do an all wizards, do something like half your proficiency bonus, you can concentrate on that many spells. So you could actually work up and concentrate on more spells, so it can feel more like old school D&D.
I would run it
Powerful.
probably on old school. I just would probably run old school.
Oh,
D&D.
okay.
Yeah,
Well,
that's just kind of where I am in my life.
I haven't played second edition in so long, man. I'd have to. I mean,
I haven't either. It might be fun. Who
I
knows?
cannot remember the last time I had to calculate 2-hit armor class 0. Like I can't even.
Oh, that's easy peasy, man.
PRUITT's got a system.
Yeah, you just do the.
I would
This
probably
is
use.
so
I would probably
long.
use
I
Target
could
20
do it
from
so
Delta.
long.
D&D
Here's my
myself.
whiteboard of math. What's I going to say? I completely forgotten what we're talking about. Oh yeah, wizard schools. I ran a game once in which they were all the teachers at an adventuring school, which was
Nice.
similar and quite funny. As a one shot, it was a good time. And I did another one where they were. Dave played in this one actually, and he agreed to it if he could goddamn be here. Goddamn, make the time to be here. In which they were all the pirates and all of the like adventuring kids were coming with them on a field day, and they were the pirates, and it was like pirate school. It was good fun as well.
That sounds.
I think I ended shooting Dave out of a cannon and into the skies. I think he shot himself. I don't even remember. It was good fun. See, not sure if this was answered before, but what was the most epic thing that ever happened in a D&D campaign ever? Cody Lewis, answer that question right now. What was the most epic thing ever to happen in a campaign ever in all time?
I've talked about it a few times. My brother gambling
Talk about it
with
again.
a wizard ghost to resurrect a party member, and before anybody else could stop him, he just rolled for it. And then when he like won his bet, he just walked over to their player who had just come back to life. Was like, oh, gasp of air, and he just goes, "We've got more work to do," and like pulls him up and just fucking like walks off into this golden portal that they had opened up. So yeah, that was the most epic shit that I've ever seen. Our favorite D&D memory, easily.
There are so many. I didn't even know where to begin.
Jim Davis.
Yeah, it's tough. I think for me it might be. Gosh, I don't know.
Yeah, I
can't think in moments. I think of like big campaigns.
Yeah, I find like specific moments the most difficult thing to to answer.
Yeah, for me it would probably be my first D&D character, Rockard White Springs, dying as he's killing the first Dracolich created in this world, as it like grappled him and we were kicking its ass, and it was a red Dracolich, and so it was plunging towards the lava, and the DM was like, "You got one more chance. What do? You try to escape?" And I'm like, "Fuck it," and I just rolled to hit him, and I hit him and plunged my sword into his heart as we hit the lava, and he dissipates into bones and melts away, and
Pretty
just
dope.
like.
Very cool.
That was like a 16th, 17th level character. Just like, fuck it. Rolled a 15, I believe. I still remember that. But yeah, just walked straight outside with my hands in the air, lit a cigarette, shed one tear.
Is Will Jones the only one who's not married?
I'm not married and I'm single.
Bro,
so
you want to get married?
Dude, you're making the sweet money. You just bought a house, So yeah.
Did I?
I mean, is it okay with that?
It's like, shit, did I just buy a house? Yeah.
I'm just making shit up about you now to make you.
I mean, hey, if I own this house now, I'm a fucking millionaire. Yeah, no, I'm not married, but might be listening.
so you're saying you don't want to make any?
Oh my god! That's fucking sweet ass check. Yeah, I'm not married. Oh, fuck.
Not what I intended.
Sure, buddy.
Do you? I'm just saying because PRUITT's
You
here.
can't bullshit a bullshitter, Will. You cannot bullshit a bullshitter.
I'm just saying PRUITT's here. Daniel Ricardo Sanchez Askeland asked, "Do you find it noticeably different to run games with players who DM regularly?"
It's easier.
I think it's easier. Yeah.
It's way easier because they come to the table understanding the workload that you have as a dungeon master, and so when you throw out plot hooks, they're like, okay, cool, like yeah, I'm into your game. I've got my character, and we can go. Let's go. They jump on plot hooks. That's a huge fucking difference between somebody who has never ran a game versus somebody who runs games regularly. Is they understand it's a like group event, and so their team. It's not that they role play better. It's just that they come in with a much better group mentality. It's shockingly different.
I don't think I've actively looked to notice that, but I do know myself as someone who DMs a lot. When I come to a game, I do actively try and run with the story for the DM, and often because it's on a show as well. I think that adds an extra element where I'm like, well, I want the show to work, I want the story to work. But I do think you do have, actively think a little bit more like, oh man, I remember when I got dicked on and, we just didn't do any plot hooks. I think there's a certain amount of just trying to suss out what the DM wants, which at times I think can lead to, which can lead to taking more plot hooks. But another point as well being, sometimes I'm trying to figure out what the DM wants. And I think that can be sometimes a little bit negative because I'm not sure where to go. And I'm kind of like, where do I go, DM? So that can happen as well. But it tends to be just go with it. But like I say, I haven't actively looked out for it. But I do play with a lot of people who DM, so who knows? I can't say I've noticed, like Cody said, like a huge difference. But then I haven't actively been comparing.
Yeah.
I mean, in fairness, do you play so many games, Will?
Sure.
And they're all on your stream because why would you play a game if it's not on stream at this point?
Oh
right?
yeah, I play one game once a month or so.
So do you? I mean, you're playing a home game very often with like just total newbie? Freshy...
No, they're all the dudes I stream with. No. I mean, I play a viewer game every Thursday. People can come in and join and play. And I think maybe, now I think about that is maybe one of the points where I've noticed that the most, because I often get people who've never played D&D before, and I say, come along, play D&D for the first time. We'll do this, we'll help you, and we've got a team that help people, make characters, join in Roll20, set up sheets and stuff like that, to just get people to start playing. And the big thing there is maybe like jumping on plot hooks a little bit quicker. Often I will be like, all right, and my character is just going down the plot line. It doesn't really matter what, and is pushing the team forwards. So I think, maybe that's where that comes in. But generally, like, I play with experienced role players, and I'm not sure if there's a huge difference between an experienced role player and an experienced DM. Michael Johnson.
Deviant of dazzling disposition.
Gladys of disposition. That is.
Oh, Michael. You are forgiven, sir. Thank you for your patronage. We appreciate the super chat, man.
At Dave, why? Just why? God damn it, Dave.
I got a question.
Yeah.
I want to see this one talked about.
Yes.
Pruitt,
Yeah.
do you think that Pathfinder 2 will have a difficult time getting adopted because people don't want to stop playing Pathfinder?
Yeah, probably. I mean, now you're gonna have another split probably, like with 3.5 into 4th edition with Pathfinder. Now you're gonna have another split in the church. You have another denomination of whatever. I don't know. I mean,
Wow,
if people are still enjoying the game, then
You still hung up about the Church of England, Pruitt?
always.
The
The effects of religion on society in general. Yeah.
Yeah,
Jim, what do you
here's
think?
my thesis.
Well, there's going to be people who keep playing Pathfinder because there's always people where this is their edition and they're never gonna go beyond it, right? So, a difficult time. I guess it depends on how backwards compatible it is. Initially, I mean, eventually it'll stop being backwards compatible. I really don't know. I ran one game of Pathfinder a long time ago, like before 5th edition was even out, and I was like, nope, there's a reason why I stopped playing 3rd edition, and it wasn't 4th edition. It was because I was done with 3rd. And I like reading through Pathfinder supplements. I own many of their books because I find them inspiring to run my other games. But I take one look at the mechanics and I'm like, snooze. So I don't know. Personally, I find the fact that there's a parallel Dungeons and Dragons that lives on in Pathfinder that's, it parallel developmental whatever's, I don't know, I find that interesting more than anything else.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure that it matters whether or not Pathfinder 2 is like played, whether there is a huge divide. I don't know. I think hopefully we're past all that kind of, bullshit, basically. Some people are gonna stick with what they like, and it kind of all settles down, and the sediment goes down to the bottom eventually. For me, I think that Pathfinder 2 is probably just a bit behind where it should be. I think 5e is this huge market, and it's like it shows on like the stats, right? There's like I look at the Roll20 industrial numbers, and it's like 5% of Pathfinder, and it's like 85% is D&D 5e and rising. Like, and D&D on Twitter is aggregating like 5% each month in growth, which is like huge. And I see Pathfinder just sort of falling behind. And maybe this will be like the grand, comeback for them. But based on what is it at the moment, like the 20 bullet points that I've read on their site, one of which is support, and one of which is like some bullshit word. It was just like a buzzword. And it just didn't seem to me like it was really well thought out, and they kind of just threw some words at it. I mean, I believe in the design team. I believe that they're going to fucking work their asses off and bring a game which is going to be interesting, particularly if you like Pathfinder. But I don't think it's going to fill a hole in my role-playing game needs over 5th edition, which I think is the real task that they have.
I think I totally disagree. And it's fine. I look, they just had the article out pulling the ICV2 numbers, and Paizo had so Wizards of the Coast had the #1 selling game, right? And they had to take that mantle back, and they've done that since 5e has come out. While 4th edition was out, Paizo reigned supreme with Pathfinder. Paizo had the #2 and the #3 selling games out of the top 5 all-time selling or selling games last quarter, and I think it's going to be a massive switch because when you have I just think cleaning up, like I still love Pathfinder. I still think it's actually a great game, but it's gotten to a point where it's so bloated down where you felt like you've broken your barrier of entry for new players, right? You've got so much stuff out. And this is the same thing we see in comics. This is why Marvel Comics and DC Comics reset their universes every decade, is so that new people can come in and jump into the game. Because, how are you supposed to jump in on Batman issue number 762? You just can't do it. There's no, you're like, oh shit, what did I miss? And so this is why they reset their universes. And I think that it's going to be, I'm really, really, really excited about it. I love 5e. I think 5e is great. I love Pathfinder. I think Pathfinder's great, but I'm interested to see a Pathfinder that can move just a little bit more streamlined, nowhere near as streamlined as 5e, that can be fresh and new and give players a new place to jump in at. Because in my opinion, I think that like Xanathars, I think totally revitalized the game, and it was needed really badly. I think everybody's pretty much, by the time Xanathars hit, I think pretty much everybody had played and seen like all the classes, and there was nothing left to really discover. And if you weren't into dinosaurs on the newest adventure, and then before that was Tales of the Yawning Portal, which wasn't really a campaign, I thought Xanathars was really, really needed and good time and well timed. And so I'm looking forward to a game that has just a little bit more mechanics and customization and some more, build out this really cool character concept. You have it, you can put it on paper, and I think that 5e doesn't really scratch that itch for me, and it's probably one of the reasons why I add in a few homebrew rules for combat, because I do find the combat very, very, like, maybe one of the most boring combat games out there. I mean, that's probably by design because they're all very story driven, but I don't know. I'm excited. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Was my elevator pitch too strong? Was that?
I just have a feeling that games are moving to, like, the tabletop space is moving away from where Pathfinder was at its prime, and I just have a feeling that games more so are becoming less about gamers and more about just people who play games and who enjoy D&D. And I think 5e has had such a huge cultural effect, which is unfathomed even by like the D&D team. They had no idea what they were doing. When it happened, didn't realize how big that would be and the effect that that's had.
So here, let me double down on that. So we have all this new wave of new people, right, who have this really cool RP stuff. And what happens when D&D moves into year 5? Dude, next year is year 5 for D&D. Next year is year 5.
Yeah.
What happens when D&D moves into year 5 and these people who've come to the game and they didn't know what D&D was, and they've learned how to role play, and now they've kind of experienced everything?
I don't know. I mean, I don't believe
if you've experienced
Pathfinders.
everything if you've experienced everything D&D has to offer after 5 years, then you need to play some more. Like, there's so much to the game, and this is one of the reasons why I don't like fast leveling. I like slow leveling, and I think, like, even over the course of a solid year, 50 weeks of playing, like, even that should get you to like the mid levels. And if you sit with a character for a while, then you can go through you can still go through the content. You can adapt the modules that come out once a year. You can make them fit your campaign and game, like similar to how they do on DCA, Dice Camera Action. Like, if you're just burning through shit so fast that you're like, yeah, after 5 years, I've played every class in the Player's Handbook, I've done everything, then I think like slowing it down and getting a bit more.
You have, I mean, everybody here, I mean, dude, PRUITT, you played on your Monday night games, right? For how long? And then you played Sunday nights, and then you were on Wednesdays. I mean, how many, you were running, like, what, 4 games a week?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm running quite a few. We just finished the Vigilante Gaming Bar game. Got my Battle Master to 20th level. So,
I mean, is there anything you feel like you haven't really?
I mean,
it's just totally really out there and different that you've not really seen at the table.
Well, I mean, I honestly think that that's up to the player. Like, just because the mechanics might be the same, the aesthetics can be completely different, and the concept can be completely different. So yeah. I think that is more of a failing of creativity and making the mechanics fit the concept than just saying, oh, I've seen every kind of bard or I've seen every kind of fighter. I mean, there's like, if we had a whole party of Battle Master fighters in our all same party campaign or same class campaign, you could make 4 different Battle Masters that would work, and they'd all be. I
mean, I'm not disagreeing there. I'm just saying, I think that at a certain point, when you start looking at the way that proficiency works in 5e, especially when you've got big bad evil guy over there, and there's his 4 minions, go up and smash him a whole bunch. I just feel like there is room there in the RPG market for another game that offers a different experience.
Yeah. Well, and again, I would only counter that with, like, last night in my Spelljammer game, they were chasing down a slaver ship, and their slavers are firing at them, and they get on board, and then they start noticing that the slaves that are, or the people that are firing at them, sorry for giving it away, are emaciated and sunken, eyes sunken in, cheeks protruding, and they're actually like shaking. And when they engage in combat, the people are like, help us, because it's a fucking Neogi, and they don't know this quite yet. But now it's like, do you actually kill these people who are enslaved to this thing that are fighting you because they're being coerced? Like, I just think that you can introduce different kinds of conflict other than straight up like sword meets sword and flesh.
And I think as well, like, I have played an unhealthy amount of D&D 5e, like streamed it, played it every day, 6 hours for years, right? And I have gone to other systems, I have never felt, and this is me as a gamer as well, I've never really felt like I'm lacking something in my gaming world which is like crunch. And I feel more so moving away from that, even more from D&D, like going playing Call of Cthulhu where I just roll the dice. And I feel like mechanics aren't the answer to like creativity and imagination, like PRUITT was saying. Not to say that I don't think there is a space out there. And I think that I think Todd's saying in chat, that it's only a good thing if there's competition for 5e. I think game design in general, like, it makes sense to have healthy competitors in gaming markets so that we continue to innovate and create. But I don't know if Pathfinder's option. It depends where they go with it. But I think in general, like, when I think about what's gonna excite me or excite my players, it's not mechanics. And this is from me and being part of my community and what I see on Twitter a lot, which I take as the general vibe of where the tabletop community is at. I see less and less people asking for mechanics. I feel like I see a lot more about, that's a really cool world, or that's a really cool idea.
This is why, if like on WebDM, we recently launched a new class series, and a year ago we did one where we sort of mechanically broke down the classes, and creatively, as an experience for myself, those are some of my least favorite, because it's just like, this is a number that this thing gets and an action, and like I couldn't get my head around really getting into them, but we kept having people ask, like, how do you role play X? How do you do XYZ? How do you get into that? And I think, like, it made me realize that people are really liking that role-playing aspect of it, and the mechanics of it are incidental, as long as it's easy to pick up and learn. They happen to be there, and they'll learn them, but it's the story that they want to create through play that really excites them.
Yeah, and I think that's what excites, has drawn in so many people from outside of gaming to Critical Role, for instance.
I wouldn't disagree with that. I wouldn't disagree with any of that. And the one thing that I personally feel is, I don't feel like mechanics get in the way of role play. If you want to role play a character and you want to do something, you can do it in pretty much any game, whether it's mechanically heavy or not. It just is, like in D&D 5e, it's quicker. And I actually love the non-combat stuff in D&D. Like, I love the way that they handle skills. I'm a little disappointed that skills don't level with you. You can't really get very much better at them. But, for the most part, I love the way they handle that stuff. I'm looking at things like in 5e where it's like, okay, so here's Xanathar's guide to everything. And then, you have some people on the DM's Guild put out, here's Xanathar's guide to everything else. And it just sells, man. It just sells all those extra player options. It just, boom, it's the #1 seller. Matt Mercer puts out a new class, and boom, people are interested and they want to buy it, and it's a new class. Andrew was talking about, he's had like 7,000 downloads of his shaman. 7,000 downloads of his shaman, because people are interested in the new classes. And I'm just of the opinion that I think if Pathfinder can hit that really sweet niche of just being a good amount of crunch without stepping on the toes of role play, they can give people more options with building characters. I just never think that giving people more options for characters is really a bad thing. And I think that's why they sold so much Starfinder, and why they are still outpacing all the other gaming companies outside of literally Dungeons and Dragons 5e, which, I mean, let's be honest, some people don't even call it role-playing games. They say, I play Dungeons and Dragons. What kind? I play Pathfinder or whatever,
Yeah.
So,
I'll have a Coke. What kind? Dr. Pepper.
Man, we say that in Texas all the time. Coke. What kind of Coke do you want? I want a Sprite. I want a Dr. Pepper.
I think there's a very
Saran wrap is the same way. Ziploc bags the same way.
yeah. I think there's a very good chance that it could be a healthy competitor, and I think it can only be a good thing if it is. I
mean, for people
yeah.
who like that mechanical heft, it's good to have a game that is supported for them.
And I think in general,
And,
new games will re-inspire you. So when something comes out, you get it and you think, oh god, I'm going to read through a list and I play it. I've done it plenty of times of games, where I'm like, fuck, I got Simba Realm, like last year, and I was like, wow, I'm now re-inspired by like dark fantasy stuff and low magic stuff. And I bought the book. I didn't like play the game as such, but ended up re-inspiring me in a new way. I just I wonder. I think if there's any company to do it, it's probably Paizo. If anyone got a good chance at doing it, it is those guys.
Yeah, and don't let anybody fool you. Paizo they're making ridiculous amounts of money. I mean, they've been selling stuff on their own website for other people just now, like Wizards of the Coast is trying to do with the DMs Guild for a decade. Okay, selling third-party material. So they've got the money and they've got the art team, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do to put some actual real money behind it and just push out like a killer product.
I really want to know what their production timeline is like as well. I think something that they did so well with 5e is slowing down that timeline. And I think some of the reason why you get people like really wanting class options, and when it comes out, Xanathar's was one of their quickest selling books last year. Then people really want it, but that's the thing that I'd worry about again with Paizo or Pathfinder 2.0 is like pumping out a ton of material again, and then quickly things get bloated, and then you've lost that aspect of easy to get into again. But there's a lot of things to go about. Basically, I mean, I don't think it's going to be the top dog. I'm interested to see what it's like though. And
yeah,
it's
I don't
stellar,
think I don't think it will outpace 5e. Like I don't think that it will outpace 5e, but I think that it will. When you show up to a convention, you're going to be able to find a game pretty easily.
Oh, for sure. I mean, their society is so strong, right? That kind of what do you call it? Their thingy play. I don't know what you call it.
Their organized
play. Thank you. That's what I was looking for. Organized play seems like a very strong community, and it seems like the backbone of it. I think it does depend though on whether or not the Pathfinder 1.0 fans get behind the second edition. I think that could have a big effect. I think they'll go for it. We talked about the Mistwalker.
Someone wants to know how the feedback's going.
Yeah.
The feedback has been pretty good. There's one mechanic specifically about unarmored defense that we're really toying with. We really think it fits still pretty well with the class, but it's an intelligence-based fighter. We think everything that we've seen, it's been very balanced, and so we have tweaked some of the original Mistwalk ability from advantage down to an ability called Methodical Strikes. And that has helped balance out the math, not just in the mid-levels, but also at the end game. When you get things like Mist Clone, we're actually making an entire clone out of Mist. And so, the feedback's been really great. We're really, really happy with this version. And we'll probably release in, hopefully 4 weeks or so, maybe next month. We can see that thing actually go completely live.
Nice. Gary was talking about there's some question about what the new Warhammer fancy role-playing game is going to be. It's Cubicle 7 publishing that, and it's going to be sick.
And they are doing both the Old Hammer and Age of Sigmar.
Yeah.
Like both worlds are being supported, which is cool. I don't know anything about Age of Sigmar. I like pick up the book just to see what it's about.
They're selling that to make sales on the Games Workshop current line, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't do that anymore, but like
$20 for a plastic figure.
I hear the kids do that, so the kids do that. Back in my day, we did the old world shit, which is like that's for me. I mean, I always keep up with Warhammer stuff. I actually got my dad a White Dwarf subscription for his birthday because he still keeps up with it. So I read the magazine every now and again, and like the Age of Sigmar stuff has never interested me. The old world stuff, I have to say, is just near and dear to my heart in terms of just the lore. It's just fantastic. And being a fancy dude, I'm not like into the like kind of sci-fi aspect that they've gone with the Age of Sigmar. That was to me was just like a bit naff. And it also pissed me off because I had a huge collection of like square figures, and they're like, you have to have round bases now. So fuck that, man. But
I thought the whole draw of it was you could use any miniature you want to build an army.
Yeah, exactly.
Square bases.
Yeah. Oh man, fuck that, man. I've got my fucking units. I got my unit bases. I was pushing that shit across.
Did you have battle masters? Do you
No.
remember Battle Masters? It was like Warhammer Light. It was like a 5x4 plastic hex grid.
Oh,
You put the miniatures on like little bases and you'd move them around.
okay.
And it was my introduction. That and Hero Quest were my introductions to Warhammer.
Hero Quest I have. My dad's got an old set of Hero Quest lying around. That was good fun.
Yeah,
but yeah,
it's fucking sweet.
I'll definitely buy fucking anything that they print Warhammer from Cubicle 7 because Cubicle 7 are just like fucking killing it at the moment with their licenses. I've been playing Adventures in Middle Earth and it is just like so on. Like it's just dead on. Everything that every expansion that they come up with is like really good. Just feels so much like what it should feel like to play in a Lord of the Rings game. So I'm really excited for Warhammer. I'm the biggest fan. So yeah, I hope they fucking bring it out soon and give me news about it. I keep going on the same fucking blog post. I know.
There's nothing.
I keep emailing them. They keep saying.
I keep going to like.
I
keep going to like Strike to Stun and seeing if like there's anything on Strike to Stun that's been updated, and it's just a bunch of people complaining about how they don't know what's going on.
The emails are like, oh, we can't talk about it yet. We'll talk about it. I'm like, fucking give me the information.
You guys, I'm telling you guys missed out, and you guys missed out on D&D minis, D&D miniature war game. It was so good.
What the fuck is that?
What the fuck is that? Oh, Will Jones, let me tell you, young man. Back when 3rd edition was
that on the GameCube? Or?
Was that on the GameCube? Did you have to put your wooden nickel in there? You would have loved it, man. It was super fun.
D&D minis.
D&D miniatures.
Miniatures. The game.
You guys seriously never saw it, never played it? No.
The game.
I bought a bunch of them, but I wasn't about to. I already had a miniatures war game. It was called Necromunda and Warhammer.
But if you bought them, they came with everything to play. Oh man, it was great.
Okay. This looks like fucking Hero Quest, dude.
Yeah.
It plays a little bit like Hero Clicks, but it's just like you build your fucking army.
Did this come out in
alignment matters, by the way, when you build your army.
Okay. It looks. I had a board game when I was quite young, and it must have been just when 4. It was either 3.5 or 4th, and it was just like a board game, very much like Hero Quest. And you move your pieces around and stuff. You'd have like cards on that where you're like your trackers. You have little points and stuff like that. I mean, that was my first experience with D&D.
I forget how young you are, man. Damn, I forget how young you are.
You should go see my 2012 versus 2018 photo on Twitter.
I've got board games older than you, man.
Yeah, dude.
Like straight up original Pokemon, the straight up original. Let's see, you had to have been born like what, 97?
96.
Jesus Christ.
I was going into my senior year in high school.
I love that, like, you've never gotten over how young Will is, and like we've been playing for like.
This motherfucker has never worked a regular job. That is some bullshit, Will.
It's not bullshit. That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm telling you, dude.
Don't be jelly.
I tweeted earlier.
I am jealous.
My classmates just graduated fucking college today. Well, they just got their fucking thing in.
Are you just laughing at him like I'm debt free?
Yeah. Yeah, that was a weird moment.
Oh,
Corey, I do use beard oil. I in my shower, I have a thing that you get it in there, and then afterwards, about a dime's worth, rub it in, do this thing. I have a brush, a boar hair brush, and a comb as well. It's very pleasant. It's a wonderful experience.
Well, you said it was in your shower. It sounded like a shower attachment. You just kind of come down.
Yeah, it's like a little spritzer.
Dispenser. Yeah.
You gotta get the hair follicles all nice and loosened up before you put the oil on.
We
got oil twice a day. Twice a day oil.
Yeah, always.
Lot of hair maintenance tips today. On the Q&A. It's been a delight. We'll take like one, maybe 2 more questions, guys, and I think we're gonna bounce out of here. We hopped on with the intention of being on for about 40 minutes.
You knew that was never going to happen.
That was 2 hours and 10 minutes.
You start winding us up. That's not going to happen.
Andrew said something awful.
Andrew wanted to. He was mad because he wanted to know which of the 3 games, Shadowrun, Vampire the Masquerade, or Starfinder, we would rather run. And then we ignored him. So he started
VTM for sure.
VTM all the way. I want to
I
run
don't know much about Vampire, but it interests me.
Same.
I want to run or play in a legit Vampire game, because when I played it back in the day, it was D&D. We ran it and played it like D&D. And I want to be a part of a game that tries to like legitimately play the game the way it's supposed to be played. like worrying about your humanity
Well,
being lost as you drink blood and shit.
I tweet,
Like, not actual shit.
I tweeted like yesterday, and I was like, I
Metaphorical.
really want to play Vampire. I want to learn how it is because like I don't see anyone streaming it, I don't see fucking anyone playing
Mhm.
it, but it just sounds so cool.
There's a new edition this year, right?
I didn't even know.
Yeah, I was about to say
There's like a
announced
5th edition of Vampire.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they all they've announced.
Kenneth Haidt is
No,
on
no,
it.
but dude, all they've announced is like, here's the new logo for our
Yeah, that's
book.
all they did.
They fucking
They have a
fucking
playtest
us
document. They
information.
had a brief playtest document.
I should
But
get
that
on
was a
that.
few months back.
They follow
Yeah.
me on Twitter. I should DM them and be like, "Yo, give me your game. How do
Yeah,
I learn
yeah.
your game? I want to learn it."
Yeah.
But the thing is, I got a lot of responses from people saying, "You need to do this edition. You need to jump in here. You have to go this vampire, the fucking something else." And I'm like, I'm scared.
It's the lore and shit of the world. I played a lot of mage back in the day, and I just ignored the meta plot.
Yeah.
I made up my own shit.
Yeah.
But that's how I've always.
I wanted to get to Andrew's other question, his inflammatory question.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah, that's
Oh,
what
go
I
for it.
saw. It was something about.
We should end on this one. Are SJWs
Okay.
ruining 5e?
Go
I
ahead,
don't think so.
go ahead, Pruitt.
What was the
Political
question
outlook.
again? I'm sorry.
Get that strong opinion out there, buddy.
Are you,
I was literally yawning. That
Oh.
wasn't my opinion.
are you ruining? Are SJWs ruining 5e?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. Sure.
I think so.
That's it. That's all I got.
I don't think they are. I don't think so. First off, SJWs are a boogeyman in a lot of ways. Like they're always the specter of SJWs are raised, and then it's like, where are they? They just seem like regular people who want to be treated fairly. So
Yeah, I mean,
That's
like,
my-
I kind of feel that way too.
Yeah, no, I was joking. By the way,
maybe that
so.
makes me an SJW,
Yeah.
but I don't give a shit. That's fine.
Fucking white knight.
Right.
I would say no. Obviously, right? That's the correct answer that you're supposed to say. But I have
Well,
seen.
that doesn't sound like an
No, it
honest
doesn't
answer,
sound
Cody.
like an answer at all.
The thing that kills
Oh
me is
my
that
God.
I'm so left leaning that when I see things, it's like, dude, you guys don't fucking
I'm
understand.
so far left,
We
and I'm
were
almost
fucking
all the
like-
way on the right.
It's
called
like-
horseshoe theory.
I've gone all the way around.
We were like these little geeky little boys that D&D was awful, and we had to go through fucking shit to make it fucking popular now. And now it's like, oh, it's popular, and it's just like, I don't know, man.
Who gives a shit? It'll be
No,
popular and
that
it won't be
doesn't bother me.
later, and we'll still play it.
I've not. That's not the point. The point is that I've seen comments out there from people that act like we haven't treated them fairly, and it's just like, dude, what the fuck? Like, come play on our game. Holy shit, where were you 10 years ago? I'd fucking let
I
you
think
play
that-
back then too. Are you
I think that there are a lot of people whose first experiences with Dungeons and Dragons and other role playing are terrible,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
it's
maybe.
probably because of their gender or their
Yeah, I saw
their
a.
person of color.
that
It's
sucks.
It
That
sucks,
sucks.
but it happens. And
I just
so-
hate when they make blanket statements.
Yeah.
And it's just like, dude,
People,
what do you?
people
what,
on the
what-
internet will do that, Cody. I mean.
What do you? Let's play. You
Yeah.
fucking kidding me?
Hyperbole is the language of the internet, and so when someone's viewpoint, which is the only thing they have, is expressed, it does sound that way, that it's everything, because it is everything to them.
Yeah.
But when we were growing up and we were treated badly, it was just the hobby in general, and so we had solace in each other. Whereas these people are coming to this thing that is supposed to be a bastion of the cast-offs, and they themselves are being cast off from it. So yeah, I get it. I mean, that sucks, and I really, I hope that things do change and people are a lot more inclusive, because we should be, because it
makes
takes
our
all
games
kinds.
better.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
Yeah.
There are two
It's a
things
great
I'd say.
topic.
There was one tweet I saw today, which was like, someone, one person was saying, sexual harassment happens at Magic the Gathering conventions or something like that, and the other guy, replied and was like, well, I haven't seen any of that, so that can't be true, and that doesn't matter. And then it was like, like goddamn. But that attitude is clearly wrong. Where it's like, if you just don't see something happening, then of course,
Listen, I totally agree with that. My only
Yeah.
problem is if they're like, there is so much sexual harassment, and you're just like, okay.
I mean, I don't know, right?
It
Like,
might be for them, I
Might
don't
be
know.
for them. I tend to
It's
believe
hard
that.
for me. It's hard for me to say that people are not letting them be inclusive when we have people like Adam Coble, who is wildly popular and successful, and is just like an awesome guy. And it's like, who's throwing shit? I don't see it. I mean, I'm not
I
saying
think
it's
it
not
happens
out
at-
there.
I
fucking
think it
hope
happens
it's
more
out
at like private tables in,
Yeah.
in people's dining
that
rooms
sucks.
and
That
back
sucks.
rooms
Yeah.
of game stores.
Well, the problem
and-
with
and
it is
shit
you
like
can't
that.
point at it a lot of the time.
Yeah.
A lot of these issues, you can't just say, there it is. Well, that's it right there. And when you can, it's great. And you can be like, that right
Andrew's
there is...
fucking question.
Right, but a lot of the time these things happen and are not necessarily said in a direct manner. You know, like there's a lot of things that you can do when you're speaking to someone to make them feel a certain way without necessarily saying anything hurtful or mean to them. You know, there's ways that people behave, there's body language. So I think a lot of things, you know, and you know, we're dudes, like we don't always pick up on things all the time. You know, like there are other people who are a lot more perceptive of things than necessarily, you know, one can be in a certain situation.
Listen, it is. I've said it before in my video. It's all about setting the right expectations with your people, because sometimes some people don't take jokes the same way. And let me just tell you, when you hang out with your buddies, that's a boys' club. And if you introduce somebody else into there, one of two things has to happen: either you and your group has to set the right expectation with that person that we are still going to talk and act like a boys' club, or you need to talk with the new person coming in and say, hey, we're going to make a change for you to be more accommodating. But you can't bring somebody else in and not talk to them and still treat it like a fucking boys club, because that's when you're fucking being unfair to, it's just not a good vibe. So that's, I mean, you just fucking talk to people. Just talk to people, set the right expectations. Don't be dicks. It's kind of the whole point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Usually, yeah.
The one thing I do take some umbrage with is when there's this thing that you see in like the Critical Role community occasionally, which like the cool kids came along and they stole our D&D. Now it's just about cool kids and celebrities. It's like, well, fuck off.
Well,
yeah, it's like if you wanted to be
those
inclusive,
celebrities were always playing.
you
That's
have
the whole
everyone.
point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right, sound good?
We can't end on that. No.
Why not?
Somebody
You don't want
We ended on a thoughtful question and conversation.
Question.
Thoughtful question. I whatever. All right, we love you guys. I don't have another question. If somebody else doesn't ask it, I think you guys are tired.
How do you guys think Pathfinder in its current form inhibits opportunities to roleplay?
It doesn't.
I like I said in chat, I don't think that it does. I just am
don't see any
done with all
appeal.
the mechanics.
Yeah, I don't really care. That's my problem. Sorry, hot soups.
Yeah.
I like that your soup is hot, but I also, on some level,
That
on a much more real level,
Thank you,
Don't care for
Don
Pathfinder.
Forgecast for the thoughtful questions and the super chat. Thank you, Michael Johnson, for the super chat. You are certainly forgiven by the dazzling, what dazzling deviant of disposition.
that's all we could go.
Guys, we'll be back next week. We're sorry that we didn't get to play tonight, but of course, being the first day of spring, I think today is technically the first day of spring.
So enjoy the snow, Dave.
We Dave had no power. He did not talk to his patron wife to get her power, and so he did not have
It can
enough
be a
power.
mutual pact. It can be a mutual pact.
Mutual pact.
Yeah, sure.
We will be back next week. Fury is on Monday. Tomorrow, Jim Davis has a game going on with WebDM.
Oh yeah.
On Twitch. Will Jones, what do you got?
I'm streaming all the time, every time. D&D.
Sure, go check out Will's channel, and yeah, that's all we got.
Bye.
Stay nerdy. Is he still going?